If you're looking for a handout, you'll want to speak with my husband.
Would you like to hear a performance? Thank you, traveler. What would you like me to perform? This one is called Fiori and Holger. A halt! Do not approach me!
Fresh meats and produce. Get that before they're gone.
But my dear, it is I, Holger, your one true love.
Then why does it hurt to look at you?
Well, that is because you are a vampire, and I am the sun.
You said I was the sun.
Vegetables as crisp as a winter's morning.
No, I said you were my sunshine. Occasionally you fill me with a burning hot passion. Although I suppose that is not unusual, given I am a ball of fire.
I too feel something burning inside me.
Well, that's your heart. Because you love me, but also because you're a vampire.
And that concludes today's show.
Need something? What do you want for it? I hear Runa Fairshield has ataxia. I don't much do big jobs. I'll take what I need, and most people here don't have much of value, except to themselves anyway. But this one time, some big merchant came marching into the city, fat as anything, and behind him was a caravan full of all sorts of treasures. I managed to pinch the biggest ruby I've ever seen from him, while he was slobbering all over the meats in the market, and on Helga's backside. But one of the bigger boys ducked me into next to Midas, and took the gem. Big as a scrib it were too. Still, the guards lopped off his head on the way out of the city, so don't feel too sore about it. He beat me bloody and stole me riches. Then he was stupid enough to get caught. I wouldn't have got caught. You're joking? There will always be that stinker of a fool ready to pat my head and lose their purse. Or a fellow sneaky type wanting the freshest news that's trickled down into the gutter. And when fools are short, there's always skeevers to eat. Cook up nice with a touch of pilfered garlic and a dab of lifted lavender. Lots of skeevers in the Warrens. I don't like it down there though. Full of crazies and some mage type who sets my spine a-tingling. What you want to hear? That I want to be some big famous adventurer or some whale and bard crooning for the Jarl of Solitude. Those are stupid kid dreams. Riften is a stink hole, full to bursting with suckers of all kinds. You got the lovers coming in all trussed up to get trotted at the temple, giggling like maids. You got the guards who don't know a dog from a dragon, and the city folk who seem to want to get robbed blind. Goodbye then.
Yes? We lived in a house as big as a palace, but it felt so empty. Every day I'd sit in my room, listening to the other children playing outside. It was like slow torture. So one day I ran down the stairs and sprinted past the gate guard, just following those peals of laughter. That was the thing. When I found them, I thought they'd let me join in, but they wanted nothing to do with me. Does it matter? All it was another rejection. When I was a child, my parents would lock me in the library and make me study. That was the extent of their parenting. But I'd always find a way out. Sometimes the books even helped. Some taught me how locks were made, and some showed me how locks are broken. Both helped me pick them. And after a while, not only could I exit the library, but enter the armory, and when I was ready, escape the city entirely. They had me pick locks. I was good at that, but bad at dealing with the consequences. Well, I didn't want to steal from people, but I also didn't want to betray my new friends. So at first, I'd do the job and leave the mark a bit of gold. But a lot of these items were sentimental. They meant something. I could tell, just by looking at their faces the next day. That hurt more than anything. One day, Vex asked me to do a heist job at the Temple of Mara. She didn't tell me what it was I was stealing, just that it was valuable. That night, Dinya and Marimal were at the Bee and Barb, preaching to the patrons. Brielle was showing the temple to a young couple. I stole away into the back, where the living quarters are, if you could call them that. These were not people of wealth. The items Vex wanted weren't even in a strong box. They were on a dresser, right next to a bouquet of flowers. They were wedding rings. When I realized that's what Vex wanted, my heart stopped. I couldn't do it. It seemed wrong. I quit, right then and there. I threw off my hood, cursed Vex, and turned around. That's when I saw Dinya, standing in the doorway. And she did what she always does. What I always needed, but never got from my mother. She hugged me, and I knew then I'd found a home. Blessing of Mara upon you.
What is it, mortal? Your pitiful mind clings to beginnings and ends when the point of the matter lies between. It is decay that I find abhorrent, metal rusting, wood withering, skin rotting. This disease of time is what I aimed to rectify. Even now, as you stand here before me, mortal, the sweat pours from your body. The water trickles from the ceiling, cutting away the stone at your feet. The mold grows in the shadows, poisoning the air with its toxic spores. It matters not if the subject is a great man, a majestic palace, or a shrine to the gods. Decay will claim them all. Ah, mortal, your pitiful mind stumbles upon a stone of truth. I did indeed fashion myself an executor of purity by destroying that which defiled it. I murdered those who lived long past the winter of their youth, and destroyed monuments left to the squalor of decay. Wherever I traveled, I left bones and rubble, like the scurf flaked off the skin of the world. However, left unchecked, the disease would fester and spoil. The only way to truly eliminate decay is not to hasten the end, but prevent its coming. The spell surrounded my body in a cocoon of lost time, at which point I would be invulnerable from all outside influence as time passed around me. However, in the instant I returned to the mortal plane, my body would be at its most vulnerable, as the soul sought to gain control of its faculties. The assailant knew this, but the fool was careless. The blow was struck as most of my soul remained in the void, and my body had yet to return to time. When the spell was interrupted, my body became trapped in slowed time. As such, it took 50 years for my soul to regain consciousness. It took 100 years for the dagger's wound to bleed out of my neck, 200 years before I could conjure movement beyond the slow of time. Yet, 2 centuries later, my body still continues to wait for a spell that will never finish and a time that will never resume its normal pace. Of my servants, there were 3 whom I trusted with guarding my body during the transfer. Fane the illusionist, Marius the warlock, and the cleric Irulen, who herself left the Psijic order to serve my will. Together they were powerful, but on their own they were nothing more than worthless sycophants. Such was the reasoning behind their selection. Yet only one managed to betray my will, and kill the others in the process. The simplest answer, for Marius had the faculty, but he lacked the desire. The warlock was a torturer. His service was bound not by his desire for immortality, but his unquenchable thirst to burn and maim the living. I provided a haven for him to conduct his experiments. To deprive me of my life is to deprive himself. Be gone.